You want your designs to stand out from the crowd, and also for clients to nod and say, yeah, take my money. In my 18 years of being a designer, I've learned some really helpful tips that do just that. The first method I've made sure I consider on a design is color. And sure, yeah, you're probably thinking, duh, of course, every design uses color. Yes, obviously it does, but few designers consider saturation of color in a deep level in the way that I do. And if you think like this, your designs will stand out for all the right reasons. So the first design uses bold and bright colors, and this can sometimes seem tacky or cheap. However, in this instance, they would make a cosmetics product potentially appeal to younger women, perhaps even teenagers. And that's due to the high saturation of color, and that makes the design look more fun, more striking, more bold. But if we go ahead and flip things around completely to a more muted color palette in terms of saturation, now the entire design has a different focus. Now things are more calm, more refined, more elegant. And this design would appeal to women above and beyond their 30s and potentially to sophisticated middle upper class people. But we do have some areas of high saturation, including the CTA and of course the lips. And the lips are the product, so we do obviously want this to stand out a bit. But in general, lowering saturation and contrast will give a more refined and more calming look to your design. And this is often perpetuated by cosmetic brands throughout the entire industry. But again, it does depend on your target audience, the demographic, and that's demonstrated right here. The next tip that will make your design stand out from the cliche, bland, and ineffective designs is a little known trick called the IKEA Effect.
The IKEA Effect is quite a sneaky technique. Basically, people will put extra value to something if they've had some kind of input into its creation. So let's take, for example, a website where you download royalty-free music or imagery or videos. You will pay a monthly fee to sign up and download that material. But in the website itself, you might be able to create favorite lists or categories to organize your downloads, and this will be personal to you and your account. You would then be more likely to stay subscribed and maybe even make future purchases because you've had an active role in creating something on that website. This technique can obviously be translated in many different ways across many UI design and business projects in general.
One awesome way to use the IKEA effect is on clients or potential clients. If you show your design process into manageable different steps, you can create a guided journey. But here's the thing, as they progress through each stage, they become more attached to the evolving design, which has been proven to enhance their sense of accomplishment upon the completion of the process, even though they didn't even design anything. Pretty cool, huh? Another psychological law that I learned and which is very important to making designs stand out and be memorized is Miller's Law.
So Miller's Law dictates that humans can only memorize a finite amount of information. How much information changes from person to person, but most people can recall 3 to 5 bits of information at a glance. Designers should learn to limit how much information they present all at once, or just break things down into hierarchy of importance. So then you have things that you really want to stick in the minds of the person or the viewer, and you'd make them more obvious than everything else.
Next is something I'm sure you've heard me talk about before, but it goes deeper than you might think. Check out this brand video for Under Armour. The premise of this video, as seen in the captions, is motivational. It's targeting people who want to have a change in their life. They want to either lose weight or gain muscle, and this brand makes gym workout style clothing. The style of video is stark. It evokes a sense of hustle and work. It uses words that directly talk to the consumer and which comes across as if they understand their position. Yeah, working out is difficult, but it's worth it, and Under Armour gets that. Take note of this style of the typeface here. It's loud, it's tall, and it's strong. Everything that plays into the emotion that Under Armour want you to feel. The imagery, the language, the colours, everything just plays into a specific set of emotions. So, if you want to make your design stand out for the right people, learn to properly play on their emotions.
Now here's a really cool tip for those of you who are logo designers. It's all well and good grabbing a font for your logo and using it if you have the license, of course. But to really make a unique logo, especially if it's strictly typographic, we need to aim to customize the typography. One neat way to do this is to open up the glyphs panel in, say, Illustrator. Now I'm using the typeface Crimson Pro here, which I do adore, and I'm just browsing over the glyphs to see what might or might not work for the logo. Of course, it's paramount your choices need to reflect the brief and aim at the target audience. But this D here with the strike through it really does appeal to me right here, right now. And on further research, it seems this D is Old English, but also it's seen in Slovak and other languages too. So when using glyphs in this way, do make sure they're relevant to your design and the brief, of course. Now you can also change the thickness and the structures of your typography by using the width tool and other elements, but make sure to keep the same style consistently throughout the typography. But yeah, just look how neat this looks now with just one small touch. I do like how the strike is in the middle of the logo itself, which does create balance, but also importantly it creates a sense of originality and uniqueness. This design is so much more brandable than the original typography solution, and I could actually imagine this on maybe a rum bottle brand or something like that. Now, keeping with the theme of logo design, my logos almost always sucked until I started to incorporate one thing. And this isn't exclusive to logo design, by the way. It's important in many different areas of graphic design. Now my career and my logo designs really grew to greater things when I started to implement shape psychology into my projects. Now I'm not going to go into huge detail about the psychological meaning for each kind of shape, because I have done that multiple times on this channel, and there are loads of websites out there that talk about it. But briefly, squares and rectangles are strong and reliable, circular or oval shapes represent community, friendship and love, angled straight lines are linked back to motion and a dynamic sense of speed, and the list just goes on. But the important thing is to understand that our subconscious mind responds in different ways to different logo shapes. Straight lines, circles, curves, jagged edges, they all imply a different meaning, and so a skilled logo designer can use shapes to evoke a specific emotion to the target market, or to make the target market think a certain way. And remember, graphic design is just a visual communication, so shape psychology is a huge part of logo designing, or it should be. A very good example of shape psychology is the cat logo. Now cat is short for caterpillar, and they're a business that leads the way in heavy construction machinery, production and sales. Triangles from a shape psychology point of view show strength and stability, which obviously is something you want to evoke when talking about machinery used in construction. And here's a tip on how to easily slide shape psychology into your designs like a pro. From your research, you can marry together word pairs in couples. So an example could be that Adidas had two words such as motion and progress, which would lead to their logo shape being born, as angled straight lines do evoke a sense of forward motion, and the steps up could be seen as progress. Or you can take my Truth Art logo project, where I used the initials for TNA for Truth Art, and then I also turned that into an easel, which of course relates back to art. Combining word pairs or words can lead to the best logo shapes, when carefully thought out, of course. Now if you learn the tips in today's video and incorporate them into your designs will then stand out for the right reasons. But if you want to elevate your designs again, just click that video on screen. But until next time guys, design your future today. Peace.